Alright, greetings, my beautiful people. Today, I want us to look at something very unique, becoming. Now, when we talk about becoming, what comes to your mind? To me, it's um, a journey or the beginning or the starting of something. You know, in the journey or in this our life journey, we must become something so that people can be able to identify who we are or what we are in such a way that looking at your personality, just at the mention of your name, the person can be able to identify one thing about you. So this, let me share a little bit of my story somehow of my becoming. This was a journey I didn't really plan for. Yeah, I did not plan my becoming. It sounds somehow funny, right? But I thank God that I was able to take this journey. Now, I remember in 2023, December, so I got a call, and this person was like, "Oh, Janet, I think you have to get yourself into this training. You really need it." And I was like, "No, I don't think I need any training." That thing of I have finished my first level, or should I say, it's my first level at the university. So I needed to rest. I don't need anything that would cause me distraction or everything. So she was like, "Okay, but remember, it's just an online training. Just take it and And to cut the long story short, so I decided to venture into this journey. Now, in this journey, I remembered one of the courses that stood for me. It was more about the leadership journey, right? And one of the courses that stood out for me was the Pardon Progress. I have been getting, or I have heard about progress before, but it struck me in the right dimension. And because of that, I had to now put myself in the context at that moment. I asked myself, I keep challenging it. If they ask you today, what are you going to say? A part of the aspect of a satisfied civil engineer. What other thing are you going to say about you? So that's got me thinking. So the first thing first, before you want to start your journey of becoming, it's until you get to that point where you ask yourself some deep questions as in, who are you? What have you achieved or what have you accomplished? And what are the things you need to do? Or how do you envision the future? What are the things you need to do to change what is happening in your present situation? Until you get to that state, you will never see it or deem it necessary to start a new life for yourself. It's the same thing. I remember when I got born again, everything to me sounded normal. Like everything was okay. What was life to me by then? To me, life was just about you. They have given birth to you. You grow up, you live your life, you make money, you eat money, and then you die. That was just life. But when it comes to understand what life was all about, I gave my life to Christ. I discovered, I found a new beginning. I found a new meaning of life, not just the born, the life, and the death stage. But I slept a lot, and that again gave me a new preservative, a new ideology about life. So it's the same thing with your journey. Every aspect of your life, until you have come to that knowledge of giving it a new beginning, you will never know that moment, or you'll never know that knowledge, that's life behind it. For example, our health. Until you start a new beginning of your health, you live a life of living my best of life and then managing or maintaining whatever it brings at the end. I remember I was reading a book, and in the book it said something. It said anything that has to do with maintenance is a mint, which means it's either we are growing or we are dying. There is nothing like we are maintaining. So the day you start maintaining any part of what do I need to do? I entered into research. Okay, I had to read books, I had to take courses, I had to take programs. And one thing that is very sure is that that day that you made that sign, or you tell yourself that you are going to make a new life out of the one that is left for you, it will seem like there is a complete turnaround or a complete change. Sometimes it will always start, majority of the times, like it has been proven that 80% of it always starts from the negative. And that is why, because it starts from the negative, a lot of people give up even before they started. Yeah. So it wasn't an easy journey, I can tell you. I remember I had to, even when I started my journey as a newborn, like a Christian, that was my spiritual life that was built. It was amazing. But when I found out what purpose is all about, then I realized that it's not just about your spiritual, it has a lot to do with your emotions, your spiritual, your professions, and your physical, that's your well-being. So all of these things have to be put in place to give you who you really are. And that is what I remember coming across the definition of mental health. Mental health, like I say, is not just about your well-being. It has to do with your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being. That's everything put in place. So you have to ask yourself a question. If your financial well-being is okay and your health well-being is not, then you are still mentally, I can say you are mentally disturbed, or should I say you are mentally not healthy. You are not healthy. Let me put it like yes, you are not healthy. So you have to be intentional about yourself in this journey of becoming. So when I started this journey, I had to take courses like throughout 20, because when I was introduced into this course in December 2023, my first course was in March 2024, and from that day, I remember I took courses every month. Some months I'll take 2 courses at once, and at the end of that month, that year 2024, I had more than 10 certificates online though. Yeah, some with great credentials and some was just, I can say, the beginner's level of academic. But one thing I never despised was, I did not despise the academic, because there's some people who tell you, or they'll say, if my academic or the academic I want to take this course from doesn't have a certain level of credibility, then I'm not going for it. That is different from me. For me, I take it that wherever I can get knowledge at my beginner level, I get it. Even if it's a free course, a free webinar, a paid one, or whatever, as long as it can meet my financial needs. And then at the same time, I push myself to go the extra mile to ensure to get certificates from also programs that can be credited, so that it gives me a weight balance. It doesn't weigh on one side. When I stand and talk about the courses that I've taken, when I list out the certificate, it will have a certain weight. And in that journey, I learned a lot. I remembered my writing journey that was long lost from childhood was revived back, and I was never someone that admired or loved reading, but I had to start reading back intentionally. So like I was saying, you have to really be intentional about what you do, the type of courses you take. Sometimes some knowledge comes in well-full package mode, even if it was free, or even if the money sounds or look small. So it's not about the price or the money back on the training that tells how value the course is. Sometimes most of the courses that are very high in cost are mostly their credibility, so which is very important. Another thing that I took on myself in my journey was what we call networking. So I took it upon myself since I was never someone or I was never a social media person. I could stay like for a whole day without even touching my phone. So it became so normal that people they'll be like, Janet, whenever I call you, you'll never be to your phone, you never picked up. I say, yeah, because what would I be doing with it? In fact, it was so like normal that my phone was always on silent because I found even the ringing tone of my phone boring. Yeah, it was boring to me. So because of that, now me being exposed to this, I was forced to learn how to expose myself by me reaching out to people, creating a relationship online and all that. And from the online space, it started growing into on-site space. So in this path, I'm going to tell you that it's not just about just taking courses. It also has to do with networking. You have to network, you have to reach out to people, you have to talk to people. Because the more you talk to people, the more you have exposed, the more knowledge you receive, and the more you're able to, build and exchange your ideas. The second thing, or the next thing I'm going to be talking about that helped me on my journey, because in the midst of me exposing myself, oh Lord Jesus, I got to meet some incredible people that helped me this journey. Those people that they believe in me even more than the way I believe in myself. Yeah, you also amazed that I'm like, I don't think I can do it too. And they will make me see within the words, not at the sight of the words, so like within. Imagine taking a block and you can see through that block what is inside the block. That was exactly how they made me see life, or they made me see every circumstances standing in front of me. So there was nothing. I remember there was nothing. Even there's some ones that I will even go and be like, when I tell this person this story, this person will understand with me and will tell me, yes, you're true. That's true. Just give up. But in meet, they will tell me, no, Janet, it's not you. You can do it. And because of that, I was forced to keep pushing on. And in that same path, I learned that your environment matters. What are the people you surround yourself with? Do you surround yourself with people that are always, excited about outing, about knowledge, or about getting the latest design in town? What are the people that are in your circle? What are the communities that you find yourself? Because the type of community you find yourself will tell how far you can go. I remembered there was a post I came across. It says, 3 things you should borrow in life. The first, never you borrow money to start a business. The second was borrow environment. Yeah. For example, now, where the community in which you find yourself. Please let me clear up that idea of never you borrow money to start a business. You can borrow money for a business that is already running, but to start is a challenge because you have not known if at all that business is going to excel or not. Now the second was borrow an environment, which means the type of environment you find yourself will tell how far you can go. And then the third thing they say you should borrow was borrow credibility. That is the type of people you have with you, because those people will help open doors for you. I remember my first on-site program I attended was out of networking, having someone in my space which believed in me and was able to pay off my entry fee. He paid my entry fee, he got me to the program, just get myself into a program. And I was and also has always been it's a remarkable part for me that I would never regret, or I would say I'll never forget, because it's changed my perspective about life. It changed how I see things. It also built me and helped me grow more communities. Now, in that same journey, or in that same part of my becoming, another thing that stood up for me was in that path, I had come across a lot of leadership passive system, not leadership impact system. And now going through leadership courses, taking some leadership courses, I had to understand what this. Should these people be working out of ignorance, or out of the aspect of they have the knowledge but they just want to be passive? And in that, I learned a lot. Like, I really wanted to understand what's happening when it talks about leadership, or when you're in a leadership position. And in that journey of leadership, I learned so much. I learned how leadership is not just about position, it's about impact. It's about the influence you create with the people around you. So until you start getting into the people around you, then you can start living life. Something in the life of the people around you that even when you are not there, they remember you for it. They have not yet started life. Because even, let's just take it back. Okay, I'm a Christian and I just want to follow what the Bible tells me to do. But if you go deeper, you realize that even the life of Jesus was all about impact. It's in the journey of him creating impact that his leadership was seen, his work was accomplished, and it was fulfilled. We all have our different journey, we all have our different path. Though sometimes it may sound similar, but it's always unique. And that is why it's very important that we take our journey and become it so seriously. And what is your becoming? Becoming is just about finding your purpose, nurturing your purpose, developing it, and then deploying it. That's what impacting others. And that is why I told myself, Janet, you can't hide this knowledge within you. You are a global lighter. And that's where the name came from, global lighter. From a position of, wanting to impact others globally, wanting to bring that light, illuminate that light in others, where they are able to find themselves from where they are lost. A lot of people are being lost and they don't even know about it. A lot of people, they are just caught up with whatever they are accomplishing today, and they think they are living life, not knowing that they are yet to even start the life that God has predestined for them. We all have our purpose. That's our calling, our mandate, our assignment here on earth. Your journey can start with an assignment or just one calling. And from a calling, it moves to a mandate, to an assignment. All of them put together for our purpose. And that is why I have made that burning desire to ensure that every youth out there is able to identify the difference between living for yourself and living for others. We can get caught up with the excitement of the achievement we are accomplishing under people's brand, under people's identity. Think you're living your identity, meanwhile you're not living your identity. So you have to find your identity. You have to start that your journey. You have to become so that you can be able to impact. I'm not there yet with my journey. I'm still on that journey. Remember, every finish line is a starting point for another journey. And just like the life of the mother hen, sometimes it sounds so exciting, right? And another thing my son loves so far or so much is story. My grandma always uses stories to make lessons. So just like the story of a mother hen, if you can understand the journey of a mother hen, then it will make life so easy for you. Do you know that? Or have you ever studied the life of a mother hen? When it's time for the mother hen to lay one after another. Comes today, it lays the one that can lay, go out, feed, eat, and come back, lay another one, go eat, come lay. Now, that stage sometimes it feels, or it's more of like a stage where you identify yourself, you identify sections, you want to identify areas. Okay, what are the areas in my life I have to build? Sometimes it might come from multiple trainings. Sometimes you'll take some training and then you ask yourself, is this really what I want? At the end, you end up, I don't think I need this. Sometimes it's not even about multiple training, but about taking various training, putting them together to form an idea. And then, after 4 or 5 days of continuous learning of it, it decides to do it. Not through it, but it has to sleep for 21 days. And I remember I've come across a lot of videos saying that anything you want to do. I remember I took a 21 days training program under the Leaders Cohort, an arm of the Lead Foundation, on really effectively writing consistently, building your public speaking journey, and also building your personal development, where we are bound to, set a system of discipline, consistency, and continuity. So in it, I learned that anything you want to, like any changes you want to make, just like they say, change is the only constant thing in life. Now, it says for anything you want to change, just try practicing it for 21 days. And the life of a mother hen tells us about it, because a mother hen covers it for 21 days before full maturity for it to hatch it. Which means if you have this particular thing you want to change and you practice it for 21 days, you'll be able to hash out that particular potential. Imagine taking your phone every day. I was never a bold type, not to talk of sitting in front of the camera today and talk to you with this long set of video, not panicking, nothing. I was never a thing. So, but with consistency, practice, sometimes I'll just take my phone, shoot a video, off it, delete it, and say, no, it's not it. I had to keep doing it. Sometimes I would stammer and then later on, but the consistency is real. I remember my first video I wanted to shoot that was talking about my experience at the MOGI ELP Emerging Leadership Program. I shot that video over 28 good times before I could shoot the video that I was able to send for me to be able to graduate. Now, when I took the Reader's Cohort, I think I shot the Reader's Cohort video 15 times. Now, the next video which was a car, still on the movie, I shot that video 3 times. Then, from there, it has been a journey of 1-2 videos. I got it right, 1-2 videos, I got it right. I remember the first time I shot my one video and I got it right, I was so excited. You know that thing of joy when you just did something that was in my life, I feel like flying at that moment. So that was it. So practice. When you practice, you hash out that potential potential that is in you that help craft your path of becoming smoothly. And in that same path, now after developing myself, I started doing what I call the exposure part. The exposure part, that's me deploying it. I started talking to people, sharing my ideas to people. So never you save up what you have learned within you. People will not be able to identify who you are if you keep it to yourself. So you have to give it back out there. You have to share it with people. You have to make them understand that this is what you have in you by sharing it. Sometimes you share not with expecting like something. You should share because you just want the knowledge to be out. And it's the moment of sharing that you're able to identify areas you didn't get it right. You will be able to correct yourself and make yourself a better version. You see that aspect, you see that part of sharing that you will be able to develop yourself better to become the better version of yourself. Now, I remember there was a certain video I came across on TikTok about a certain race. Now there was this race that was going on, so these people were running, like serious running, and this lady sprinted like, and in that position she tears out, cried. What's deep in her, she remember where she came from and what she would accomplish if she wins. Why? Because the reward that was given for the winner was exactly what she needed to fund herself, because her parents can't fund her education. She had to somehow carry out the energy, the strength, and in the last minute she was able to surpass the racers. So the race is not about the swift, but those are intentional, those that are determined to make it to that finish line. So it's not about how fast you go, it's not about how swift you start, but it's the intentionality of how you complete your journey. For example, you're about to start a new journey today of finding yourself. Okay, what do you want? What do you want to become? What do you want people to identify you with? That's the first thing you have to do. Now the next thing you start looking at is, after I've been able to find this thing, after I've been able to discover this thing, what next? Which is the deploying. Now, the developing. In this part of the developing, what do I need? What are the books I need to read? What are the courses I need to take? Who are the people I need to engage myself into? What are the communities I need to find myself into? You cannot find yourself in a community that doesn't impact you positively. For example, you cannot be someone that you want to work on a health journey and you find yourself in security journey or in a security community. It's going to be a disaster on your path. And don't do things because of the peer pressure of what is happening. Or don't refuse your purpose or your journey because of what you're accomplishing already. Because if that be the case, I bet you it would definitely crash at one point in your life. And don't let it get to that point where it will be difficult for you to stand. I remember there was a video. This guy said something. This guy said, as individual, anything you want to build, be rest assured that you have benefits from it after 10 years. Can you imagine that the guy that started Facebook started making money from Facebook after 15 years? But when he started the Facebook, people were making money from it. Like people were using it to sell their product, they were making money from it. But him, the owner of the product, did not have benefits. So it's the same thing. You don't discover your purpose today so that it should give you that immediate income from it or the benefit. It is because you want to impact others. It's for others' immediate benefit, not for your future benefit. So that is why you shouldn't joke with your becoming. You shouldn't joke with your journey. You shouldn't joke with anything that has to make you become a better version of yourself. Even if it means you take just 15 minutes. I know it's not going to be an easy journey. It's not going to be an easy journey. But now you can start with something. Get some reflection questions. Find some reflection questions, some questions that can help you identify more deeper. I remember the first book that helped me in this purpose journey was the book called The Purpose Driven Life by Miles Morin. I took that 40 days journey book and I was very intentional about it. I remembered in day 23, that was when I was able to get a clear definition. No, in day 13, I got a clear definition of my purpose. But now in day 23, I was able to get a clear purpose, vision, and mission for my organization. Yeah, I have an organization, or should I say, I'm building an organizational brand called J where it's all about purposeful living, like empowering the youth globally to live a purpose-driven life, impacting others through mentorship programs, holistic growth, and also ensuring that they have the right skill needed to become the best version of themselves and lead purposefully. I see on the job mobile we have a certain that it's more like a coaching program where we coach people on discovering their purpose, we coach people on leadership. And to God be the glory, we have graduated over 4 edition of the program. So it's a milestone for me, because looking at where I started and where I am today, I just give God the glory, because it's only by Him, through Him and in Him that can we be able to accomplish that. But I've not started yet though. So thank you for your congratulations, but I've not started yet. Yeah, that's just a step I have been able to conquer. So I'm starting I'm starting the journey, another journey, milestone. The hill I'm about to climb now is greater. Like, I can't even see the end of the hill because it's too tall for me. But I know I'm going to get at that top where the point or the pillar of success is standing on it. So I just want you to use this my own journey as a tool to tell you that you are not late, or it's not late for you to start. You can still start.